Welcome, family, to Heart Posture. This is your girl Free. Today we're going to get into something a little bit different. Today I'm going to discuss about the children of Yashar'el, and this will be a 10-part series where we discuss in-depth information about who the true children are of Yashar'el. And this is not going to be a controversial lesson, but it's going to be edifying. So I will say continue to join in so that way we can learn together. And family, before we talk about personal identity, we will or must talk about our national identity, because you cannot understand who you are until you understand who Yasher'el is. Identity didn't start with your childhood. Identity didn't start with your trauma. Identity didn't start with your mistakes. Identity started with God's covenant. So the name Yasharel, where identity begins, let's start at the beginning. In Genesis 32:28, God renames Jacob, right? Your name shall no longer be Jacob, but Isreal, Yasharel, for you have struggled with God and with men and have prevailed. The name means Yasher, let's break it down, upright or straight. El means God, Yahuwah. So the identity of Yasharel is a people who walk upright with God. Identity begins with a name God himself spoke. Who Yasharel is according to scripture, before history, before exile, before scattering, God defined this people. Scripture says Yasharel is chosen. Deuteronomy 7:6. Set apart people. Leviticus 20:26. A priestly nation. That's Exodus 19:5-6. God's firstborn. That's Exodus 4:22. A covenant people. Psalms 105:8-10. A people God will never reject. That's Jeremiah 31:35-37. Identity is not a feeling. Identity is not a trend. Identity is a covenant. The 12 tribes, the root of national identity. I'm going to get into that. Yasharel is not one tribe, it is 12. Each tribe had land, purpose, prophetic destiny. This matters because identity is tribal, not generic. You come from a people with structure, order, assignment, and a calling. So we're going to get into the historical reality. Israel was a real nation, not a land, but a people. And it's a bloodline. Let's anchor this in history, not myth, not imagination. But archaeology confirms. Now I'm going to try to say these names, so bear with me. The Merneptah stele, that's Merneptah. Stele, Stele, and that's from the 1200s BCE, mentioned Israel for the very first time. The Tel Dan stele references the house of David. The Mesh stele mentions Israelite kings. The Assyrian records describe the northern kingdom. This is not a fairy tale. This is a documented ancient people. So we're going to get into the exile, how identity was shaken. 2 major exiles changed everything. The first one was the Assyrian exile, 722 BCE. That's 2 Kings 17. The second one, Babylonian exile, 586 BCE. That's 2 Kings 25. That exile consisted of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi were taken to Babylon. These fulfilled prophecy. Deuteronomy 28:64, scattered among all nations. Amos 9:9, sifted among the nations. Identity didn't disappear, it was scattered. So we're going to go into Yashar'el among the nations. After exile, Yashar'el spread into Africa, Arabia, Persia, Europe, Asia Minor, eventually the Americas. Historically documented Jewish communities existed in Ethiopia, Yemen, West Africa, Babylon, Persia, Spain, and Portugal. Identity became global, not local. While many don't know who they are today, Scripture prophesied identity loss. Let's get into that. Loss of memory. Deuteronomy 32:26. I would scatter them and make the memory of them cease. Loss of heritage. Jeremiah 17:4. You shall discontinue from your heritage. Loss of language. Isaiah 28:11. With stammering lips and another tongue. Hosea 1:9. You are not my people. Identity was buried, not erased. Prophecy of awakening. Identity returns. Scripture says identity would return. Ezekiel 37:11 through 14. The dry bones rising. Isaiah 44:5. One will say, I am Yahuwah's. Jeremiah 33. Restoration. Deuteronomy 30:1 through 3. Remembering identity. Romans 11:1-2. God has not rejected his people. Identity is awakening, not invented. Who Yasher'el is today, biblically speaking, Scripture describes the people of Yasharel today as a scattered people, Deuteronomy 28:64, mixed among the nations, Hosea 7:8, hidden, Psalms 83:4, preserved, Jeremiah 31:35, awakening, Ezekiel 37, return to covenant, Deuteronomy 30:1 through 3. Identity today is not about race. It's about prophecy, covenant, and calling. What this means for us today is, here's the truth. You are not random. You're not accidental. You are not disconnected. You come from a people God chose, God formed, God disciplined, God scattered, God preserved, God is awakening. Identity is not something you create. Identity is something you remember. Today, let's just breathe. Let's try to understand who we are. I am part of a people God chose. I am part of a covenant God never broke. I am part of a story God is restoring. I remember who I am. This week, I'm going to call you to Deuteronomy 28, Ezekiel 37. Read these scriptures. Isaiah 43, Jeremiah 30:31, Romans 11. Identity becomes real when you anchor it in Scripture. That's it for today's episode. Until next time, peace, love, and baraka, mishpachah. Shalom.